Previously on Common Sense for Relationships.
Secret. What kind of people are you exposing yourself to in the name of relationships? Don't just jump into relationships. Scope people up front. Try to understand what kind of person is this person. Before, you should be watching out for tendencies. What is this person capable of doing? And some people think, oh, it's easier. If it's just so bad, I'll just walk away. We'll just get divorced. That's not lie. Go and check. Ask the people who are divorced what they went through. If you know that there's something in your life that is like a time bomb, disclose it. Give the person the choice to say, I will stay with you in spite of, or I can't handle this, I'm walking away. Whenever the cat comes out of the bag, they should deal with whatever the consequence is.
Yes, now.
They should own it and be responsible for it. And do their damage control to the best of their ability and hope that everything works out fine.
Bam.
Hello and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships.
Yes, welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships.
My name is Anietie Bature.
My name is still Kingsley Bature.
Yes. And I was just laughing because of BAM in that recap. Oh, yes.
Right.
So that was nicely the end of
the secret edition.
yes.
Right. So
Hopefully we're not keeping any secrets from now on.
I see. There's a way you said that statement. Normally I would just waka pass. But there's a way that you said that statement as if the statement is like a question, rather than just a statement. So it's a statement, but it's almost as if you're asking, are you sure you're not keeping any other secrets?
So anyway, we'll find out. So Debbie.
How now? You're always on point.
Debbie, welcome.
Loyal,
as in,
fan.
she has a special end of year gift.
I'm not going to disclose.
We're not disclosing it today.
Yes, we'll not disclose it.
Yes. So everybody else
will
welcome.
Get something.
They also have
their
something.
Yes. Whatever.
But Debbie,
number one fan.
Okay. Yes. So welcome everyone, and when you join, please let us know where you are joining us from.
Yeah.
Yes. Today we are talking about something interesting. And yes, you can see it. I do before you say I do. And I'll follow that to say before we start talking, please share this link because this is going to be quite interesting. Share this link on your social media platform so other people can join us.
If you are watching on YouTube, there's one arrow under the video that goes like this, cure. And then just click on that arrow. Boom.
Does the arrow make a sound?
Is your people now? You know your people.
No, my people don't used to say cure.
You because you are a bit.
My people.
They are a bit buttered up. They're a bit buttered up. So you don't do the. But your people they attach sound to everything. So when the thing goes like the cure, when you press it, boom.
You're just looking for trouble. You soon buy goats.
I paid you down fully. Nothing is remaining. That's why we can just run our mouth. Anyhow.
Okay.
Yes, I did what I did.
You did what you did.
Yes, I did.
And you knew what you did before you did.
Yes, I did it.
Okay.
Because if I want to go and pay it now, what they will charge me after you have graduated with masters? Wow. It's okay. Yes, and now you have. In addition to that, you have years of experience.
No, see, you've forgotten that the master's was already there when we got married.
Now there's additional years of experience.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
So it's a problem for me.
Okay, anyway, so I do.
But before you say I do.
So let's talk about it. No, talk.
What do you want me to say? What exactly you have in your mind? Because when you're looking at me, there's something. There's an agenda.
Today
of yours
I forgot to mention. Today I am the guest and he's the host.
I don't like it when people call me host. When I hear host, I usually remember things like mosquito. Mosquito coming to parasite and host. That's kind of. So I don't like.
Okay.
Let's just leave it there. Anyway, like we said, we're talking about I do, but before you say I do. What should you know before you say I do?
Are you asking me or are you asking?
I'm asking them. I'm
Okay.
asking you. And why are we asking those questions? Because this December season, it has a way of people just have a way of putting their marriage. That's another question we need to ask again. Why do you people like to marry around December?
I can answer that one. No.
Why do people like to marry around December? They just be doing married.
Because that's around the time that a lot of people come home for Christmas.
Okay.
So you can just plan your wedding around that period if you really want a lot of your family members to be around.
Okay.
At least that's one reason.
Okay, because you want a lot of your family members to be around. But if you don't want your family members to come, uncle.
You plan it for February. Or you plan it for end of January after everybody has paid school fees. so that they'll be telling you things like, well, transportation, something, this, that, by the time they give you all the excuses, you have like 20 people at the wedding. Unless, of course,
but really, the
money
issue,
is not a factor.
So the idea with I do, and with the whole thing around I do and why people want to do,
Mm-hmm.
do you understand? It's the fact that there's also a part where people like the concept of marriage. People, let me say, people like the concept of being married.
Okay, I'm listening.
So because people like the concept of being married, people can be in a relationship, but it almost feels like the ultimate goal of this relationship is to be married.
Okay.
And so people want to move quickly from just having hookup. And it's as if the hookup is the effectiveness of the hookup is validated by the eventual marriage, in which case this hookup was successful because it ended up in marriage. So there's that concept where people like the idea of marriage or the idea of being married. I don't know if I'm saying something to someone. I don't know if you guys can hear me out there. So it's because of that. That may be why a number of people want to say I do.
Okay, so you're saying this is a situation where people just like the idea of being married because of whatever benefits come with in quote being married.
Well,
Example.
I'm not even sure if it's the benefit as much as it is the idea.
But the idea by itself wouldn't hold any weight if there are no benefits attached.
So if we were to ask now, maybe we should ask our viewers, when you say what does it really mean to say I do? What does it really mean?
It means that you have said I do now. It means that you have agreed to marry somebody. It means that you have gone somewhere, you signed something.
So when you agree to marry somebody, what did you really do?
And you've married the person now. You are now husband and wife, legally bound.
Yes. But what did you really do?
What did you really do? You signed something. That's all you did.
Well, is that all there is?
You met family. You exchanged gifts. You sound like there's something you have in mind. What do you have in mind? Say
it's not about what I have in mind. I'm going somewhere because you're just trying to just answer it like that's all. You just sign something. It's every day in the office.
No, I was trying to tell you, but because there's somewhere that you seem to be going, I said somebody cannot just be liking the idea if there's no benefit. There's nothing in it for the person that is associated with that idea.
So what are the benefits that are associated with the idea of being married in today's Nigeria?
There are different reasons.
Is it cultural?
There are different things. They're just if you want to even start from respect, the respect you get just because you're married, respect you get from people in the society, the respect you get as a guy because you're married, you're seen as a responsible young man or a responsible man when you have a wife at home. You have to add the at home when you have a wife at home.
So you're seeing, so for the guys now, it means that you are a responsible somebody. That's why.
Yes, that's part of it. You're seen as. Doesn't necessarily mean you are, but you are seen as because you are married.
You see this you just said now. And that's what I was talking about when I say the idea of being married. So now you are saying it that if you it makes it feel like you're a responsible young man.
So it does something for your reputation,
for your
profile.
It
does something, yes. And as a lady,
I'm talking about.
Yes, and as a lady, they don't talk to you anyhow in the office because you're married. Yes. I mean, I can remember back in the day when I go to the bank, they will just be insulting me anyhow. Back in the day before customer service became a thing, they'll just be talking to you anyhow just because you look like a child, in quotes, your stature and stuff, right? But the moment there was a ring on this finger,
there was a change that happened.
And I just enter. Hey, madam, welcome. Hey, I say, is this the power of the ring? So some people say, oh, always wear your ring. I didn't need anybody to tell me to always wear my ring, because this ring means respect. So for me, that was one of the benefits of being married. Right?
We have Akambi Oluwatobi Matobite said, when you say I do, it means you are committing to the person, spirit, soul, and body,
past present and
future.
Solid.
Toby,
that's a strong meaning.
That meaning that you have there is very strong.
I know.
It's a fully loaded box. But the question is as if some people may not really agree with that definition.
Now that you have turned it to question.
It's a question.
Oh my goodness.
People may not agree with that definition.
Jimoski is around.
And Jimoski is around. Okay.
Jimoski is around. Good evening,
guy.
Jimoski, welcome.
Jimoski, we are talking about before you say I do. Okay. What are the things to look at before you actually commit past, present, future, spirit, soul, and body to somebody?
Yes, and my husband said that so it may be that some people are drawn to the idea of marriage, and I said if they're drawn to the idea, it's because there are benefits, and I'm talking about the benefits.
Yeah, and
one respect of the benefits that you get, respect. Your profile and your culture. Reputation. Yes. So when you go to the office, some people will say, get me a cup of tea, do this one, go and print this document. But when you're married, they can't be sending you to go and be photocopying stuff. Don't they have hands and legs? So there's just something about it. Yeah, there are other things. Wait, there's the part where your friends see you as, oh, you're lucky. And that's particularly if you are not, let's say, saying everything to your friend, or maybe your friends are still single, right? In the society, in this culture, and you are the one that's married, they now see you as, oh, you have everything all together, you are married, So you may now start feeling like, yeah, I'm the one who's gotten it right because I'm married. There's just you feel like you have you feel like you have an edge, like I'm better in this part. These are some of the reasons why people really go out of their way, or people like the idea, like you said, the idea of being married. Yep. So I told you part one of your question. So
good. Jimoski Jimoski said, before I will say I do, I will make sure I clean all the cockroach in my wardrobe to give me a clean and peaceful path for my marriage ahead. Wow. Before I respond to him, Bakari Isaiah said, keep up the good work. Thank you. This Bakari. Is why we do what we do, and that's why we keep encouraging you. Please share the link, share to your friends, share to your neighbors, share to your enemies, because if your enemies become your friends, your life is getting better. And so Jimoski is hitting the nail on the head. Before I say I do, right now, I want to get all of these things, these benefits from doing or getting married, getting hitched, but before I say I do, Jimoski said, I plan to clean all my cockroaches. So in this first episode, what can we tell people to do before they say I do? We have already tried to give them an idea of what it means to say I do. But it's just an idea, like you said, it's just to sign the dotted lines. And a lot of us signed it. And after a few years, we are just realizing what we signed. I'm telling you, I just realizing what we signed. After a few years, in 20, how many days? In 18 days, it's going to be 15 years, Michelle.
Yes.
Oh, you're not excited.
I'm excited now.
Your excitement is not showing. I am more excited that I survived 15 years
Survived.
of the marital journey.
Oh my goodness. You know,
No,
when you say
but
survive,
when I say
somebody will
survive,
think that you
have-
suffered.
that I've been getting hell.
Mm.
My goodness.
Hmm.
But actually, it's not survival. As you can see, I'm enjoying it just like this cup of coffee. It's a very enjoyable 15 years. What can I say? No, she'll drive me out of her shoe.
You're looking like you're saying it under duress, under compulsion, as if. In fact, I didn't know what to say to you.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, but the truth is, when people say I do, they are buying into an idea. Most people that say I do, they are buying into an idea. But when we are saying before you say I do, we are trying to look at the idea that you are buying into. I hope it is the same idea that the person that you are doing it with is buying into.
So, what you're saying is that there should be alignment between what everybody's thinking. People should be sure you're on the same page. That's one of the things you need to do before you say I do.
So before you say I do, one of the things you need to do is to be sure that what you say you want to do is the same thing that the other person is saying they want to do. Oluwatobi says, where there is an idea, there can be a presumed benefit, yes, depending on the context of that idea, though. But the idea must be understood because the idea outweighs
the benefits.
The benefits.
Interesting.
What do you think about what Toby is saying?
Well,
that the idea outweighs the benefits, and that's the part where I began from, which is that me and you that have been in this thing know that there are benefits to this thing, right? And culture or society paints some of these benefits to us, but it now seems that some people are more into the idea. They have an idea of what it means to be married. And it is that idea of what it means to be married in their head is what they buy into versus what it really means to be married. I don't know if you
so
get the
now what you're saying, because me, my own is just to be saying what you're saying. So what you're saying right now
in English
is that before anybody gets married, they should try to really find out what marriage is about rather than assume what it is about. Okay. So it's more like you say, I want to go to university, I want to study a course. You don't say, oh, I want this course sounds really nice, so I want to study it. It's just I like the name electrochemical or something engineering, or I like the name petrophysics something. Do you understand? Like the name psychology and blah blah blah. You know, so you just like the name and so you want to study it. No, you try to find out what is this course about. What am I going to be learning? How can I apply it? Which path will it take my life on, and so on? And then you decide, oh, what's the chance of becoming wealthy if I go on this career path, you know, compared to this other one, and so on. But if you don't check, you don't try to know, then you may just follow the name and then get there and find out, no, I absolutely do not like this. Even though you're already in it and it may be difficult to go back, right? So the same thing with marriage. If you want to get married, before you say I do, find out what is marriage really about. What is in a marriage? What is required of me as a person in the marriage, and so on. Yeah, so that's that's the other part you said.
So that pretty much extrapolates the concept that I'm trying to share. So it's like, you know, I'm liking what's happening here. It's like me, I'll say it in English, and then you will now say it in breakdown English.
Oh yeah, continue
So,
continue your extrapolation,
yes,
please.
yes. So if I extrapolate that thought, I'm trying to say, so in this episode, can we actually bring out the certain things that people need to know before they jump into? We have already brought out one which you explained, which is the fact that what your concept of marriage must be the same thing that your partner has as their own concept of marriage.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, before you get married, you need to know who you are. Let's start from there. You need to know who you are.
Okay.
Because if you don't know who you are, you won't know what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who you are, you won't know what is best suited for you.
Mm-hmm.
So please find out a little more about yourself. I mean that there are different ways to do this. Some people will go the path of finding out, let me understand why I act the way I do. So there are certain books you should read, why you act the way you do, spirit control,
That should be Tim
temperament,
Lahaye.
yeah, and so on.
Right.
The different things. You can even do a temperament test online. Just type temperament. Different options come up. Try to understand a little more about yourself. Are you sanguine, choleric, or all those things? Understand a little more.
Baby, you're rushing. Calm down.
Okay. Are you
See,
sanguine?
you say sanguine.
Are you
Somebody will
choleric?
think it's
Sardine.
sangaria. You know that drink, sangaria. Yeah, sanguine. They
Are
think it's
you?
sangaria. They think it's a drink you're talking about.
Are
You
you
understand?
melancholic? Are you?
So you're talking about the people's personalities now. You need to
Yes.
know your own
Are you
personality.
phlegmatic? It's a combination. It's not just one. But just find out as much as you can about yourself.
So one thing I can bring out here is that you're saying there's the self
Awareness.
right? Know yourself. Akambi says
Self-realization.
Exactly. So there's the self-awareness, self-realization. You know yourself.
You understand
you
yourself.
understand
You
yourself
know why
first.
you act the way you do.
Why you
know
act.
why you have certain preferences. You understand what you consider important. You know what your values are. You know what you stand for. What are your beliefs? If you are in a setting where political parties have ideologies driving them, you'll be able to just by that know which party you should belong to, and so on. You understand these things about yourself. What keeps you grounded? What is your anchor? How do you deal with certain situations?
Hold on.
This is all part of knowing yourself.
See, you are extrapolating a lot of concepts. As in you are just distilling the concept, and it's really exciting me. There's this one that you talk, know your anchor. What does that mean?
So your anchor is what keeps you grounded, just like a boat. You want to stay in one place, you drop your anchor, you stay there, right? Your anchor is what keeps you grounded. What is it that keeps you? What is it that makes you? That defines who you are? It's almost like what will make you make a certain decision based in spite when you're faced with different conditions, right? What will make you stay the course even though you might face adversity? Do you understand? You may be faced with challenges that for other people it might just
pass by.
Not as in apart from passing by, they may drift along with the challenge, right? But when you have an anchor, right, it determines what your reaction is going to be, and it helps you to stay through. Yes, stay the course, stay through. So for some people don't have an anchor, and so anything can happen to them. So something happens, they break down, they fall apart, and anything that anybody suggests is a solution, they grasp, at it, trying to, just like someone who is drowning and wants to stay afloat. Even a tiny speck, something that seems to be on the surface of the water, looks like something they can hold on to, But if you have an anchor, you stay grounded. So this is one of the important things to know. And it's some people may look at it like, oh, what's the big deal? But you really need to know this person, what's their anchor? What keeps this person grounded? How are they able to face all that they face? for some people is that they have a strong support system. Their family, keeps them strong, rallies around them when things are going tough and so on. And because of that, they are able to make it through. For some other people is, it could be also friends, not just family. For some people is their faith, tested and trusted. And they know, yes, God is the one who sees me through all of this. Just find out. For some people,
It's booze.
yeah, some people is booze.
Some
people is
booze.
Bottle, some people is
bottle.
wrapped.
It's
For some other people is
it's drafts.
So
Draft.
just know, because some people say, I didn't realize
What
this that.
So
and then
it's important for people to understand that
yes,
an anchor, your anchor is important. So if you understand what your own anchor is, it means that if you are, before you say I do to somebody else, you need to also find out what is own. And before you say your own anchor is, when I'm in tough situations, I just look to my God. But when the brother is in tough situations,
he looks to the bottle.
He looks to the bottle.
10 green bottles standing on the wall. Do you understand? You better check. Yeah. And sometimes in part of knowing yourself, because if you're preparing for marriage, ideally you should be preparing for a successful marriage.
True.
And you should know that marriage will come with its own challenges, with great responsibilities, a demand on you, your time, your resources, and so on. So if you know that, so far I've been relying on this thing as an anchor, as a support, and so on, and it may not work by the time I get married, it's time for you to consider, okay, I need to find a dependable, a solid, anchor, and make certain adjustments before you go ahead to get married.
It means that if you do take that self-assessment, self-awareness, self-realization test, these are some of the things you will come out with, right?
Some of them you get from the self-awareness, from the temperament test, and so on. But the rest from you checking yourself, asking yourself some critical questions, you'll be able to uncover a lot. And so another part is asking people, what do you think about me? Because there's a way you may see yourself and you think, oh, I'm all that plus a bag of chips, and so on. And then you're really not all that. Or maybe the people in your immediate sphere have been telling you you're a princess, you're a queen,
But you see that part of asking people, that can hard, because if you sometimes your friends may not tell you certain things, but the day you wake up and ask the question, you may not like what they will tell you.
But it's good now when you don't like what they tell you. The fact is, we need to be open to feedback. So just go ahead and ask. Hear what people have to say. They may tell you that, look, you're terrible. You're always keeping malice. You bear grudges, this, that. They'll tell you stuff that you can actually take back and go and develop a plan to improve yourself, or to develop new habits if the ones you have are mostly bad. So there's nothing wrong with knowing yourself, but that's just the first thing. Know yourself. After you have known yourself.
Before you go to the next point,
okay.
Kingsley says, does I do change a foolish man and an extravagant woman? Is there a miracle that happens on the altar that changes both parties? Foul.
Unfortunately, there's no miracle.
Unfortunately, so getting married, even though our culture seems to say, oh, when a promising young man gets married, he becomes a responsible young man. But even though that's what our culture tries to paint, but the truth is really there's no magic that happens at the altar because you say I do. If he's a promising young man and he's irresponsible, by the time he gets married, he will be an irresponsible married man. Except he decides to make some changes to himself. And that's something, before you say I do, before you go to your next point, let me make it categorically clear that before you say I do, you cannot change anybody who was before. You cannot change them after doing. Before you do, the person was one kind, and you just think that after I do, the person will change. Foul. You can say your own.
Yes, I'll buttress that fact. People don't just automatically change because they said I do. In fact, the change that happens, right, it's not really a change, right? It's just that people begin to let down their hair, people begin to settle in and become their real self, you know. Like I put in husband material, my book, I said, the not so, you know, you put your best foot forward, and then while well, after you get married, that foot, the other foot, not so good foot, you start bringing it to the front, and the person now realizes, oh, that nail is dead, the other toe was cut off, that foot has, I mean, there's sores on it and so on, you know, as in figuratively, right?
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, people just begin to be more of themselves after they get married. And you know, if you saw the best before the marriage, then that means when they're becoming more of themselves, it's not necessarily a better that is being unveiled, except when people really, really decide, for the sake of my marriage, or for the sake of even myself, or for the sake of my future, I'm going to work on becoming better. I'm going to be deliberate about becoming better. But you can't bank on that, because it's possible the person will decide, you know what, I'm fine the way I am. I'm not changing anything because of anybody. So you can't bank on the fact that they will change because they've gotten married to you. So know yourself. Now, when you have known yourself, in quotes, or it's not as if you know yourself 100%. Some people say, well, how will I really know when I've finished knowing myself? Know yourself to the extent possible, right? And then with all that you know about yourself, you can now move on to who is a good fit for me.
So maybe to help that person that wants to know himself very well, know yourself enough for you to make a decision.
Yeah, exactly. Jaworski says, if I may ask, must we say I do? Can we just do the just and just the just? What's the just?
We need to explain what that thing is. Please, guys, if it's possible to give Jimoski a link, please give him a link. Let him come on the show and explain to us what he means by do the just and just the just.
I don't understand. I'm just trying to understand, Jimoski, please.
Oh,
Judith says, I sometimes feel people use temperaments as an excuse to misbehave.
I agree.
Judith, temperament.
I agree.
Temperament. You're right. People use it to misbehave. Temperaments are interesting, but it's good for you to know your own temperament and to be able to decode the temperament of the person you say you love or you want to get married to.
Yes.
Know their tendencies and know
tendencies.
And know if you are cool with those tendencies. Okay, now the fact is, not everybody is boxed in, right, to the negatives of their temperaments. There are some people who, through in different experiences, and if I speak of it from the part of a Christian, there are some people who, through the help of the Holy Spirit, have been able to, should I say, smooth out those rough edges, and what you're left with is the positives, right, to a great extent. Some people. Yeah, so don't just say, oh, temperament can't work or temperament can't work. But you should be able to see, okay, if this person is this kind and has these attributes, can I work with it? How can we leverage it? I'll give you an example.
Okay, so before you give your example, please, can it so before you give your example, I wanted to say this. Is it possible that something else that she's asking is that some people will just, because they know this temperament thing, they will now just say, please, it's my temperament.
Like example, somebody who is just acting bossy and somebody who is trying to have his way all the time and he's claiming, please,
that's how I am.
I'm choleric.
Yes, that's how I am.
I'm choleric. It's just who I am. So if that's who they are and they are claiming temperament as the reason, they're just telling you this is what you should expect when you marry me. So if you are fine with that, then you can go ahead and marry them. If you are not fine with that, what are you still doing there?
What are you still doing there? So it means if they say this is how I am, you too, you say this is how I do. You move the other way. That's all.
Or more like this is how I move.
This is how I move. Hashtag. This is how I move.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Akambi says sheep wey no get anchor go sing. Even bottles they crack and break.
Did you just speak pidgin?
I read pidgin.
Wow.
What's your problem? I'm not even going to try to prove anything. I'm not proving anything.
Prove yourself.
He says, can one ask for people that know the person just like an investigation? Of course.
In fact, we encourage it.
Yes, we encourage it. Back in the day, they used to do background checks. You know, our parents and stuff would go and check the family of who is the brother of the sister and the uncle.
What do they have in their family?
Yes.
Are they Obanje?
Did somebody run mad? Do they have
and those guys,
how long do the men survive? And
without technology, they
would check and ask questions.
They had, a network. Even without technology, they had a network, that they used to know, people's history.
Yeah. So yes, we encourage you, please. Ask.
Let's
because you need to know.
Comments.
Yeah, you need to know. Adeomi says, greetings to everyone in the house. Hi, peace. Special thanks to the best family in the world. Thank you so much. I love what you guys are doing. Please keep it up. Yay. Thank you. We will keep it up. Yeah. Then, one TV says, those who are teachable, right? Marriage is not meant for professionals, but those who are willing, to learn on a daily basis. Exactly.
One TV, is this your first time on the show?
Yes.
The name.
Definitely.
One TV, please, if this is your first time on the show, please just put hashtag first timer,
yes.
so that we can welcome you properly, because
knowing your temperament will help you make provisions for change. Exactly. Thank you so much, One TV. So people need to be teachable. People need to be willing to learn, willing to change, willing to improve. But you need to be aware that not everybody is interested in that. Yes. So you need to be careful that you don't go and commit to someone thinking that they will be all that when they don't have any plans of being that. Okay, so I think it's time for us to take a break, right?
Yeah, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to go into the other things you need to know before you say, I do.
Yeah.
Are you searching for a life partner? Do you wish to have a relationship that actually works? Search no more. With the book Husband Material by Anietie Bature, a relationship coach and author, Husband Material promises clarity and direction on all the questions you have in this thing called love. With rich content from decades of real experiences and learnings, Husband Material Workbook provides an awesome read that will help make your relationship work. This is made possible with a step-by-step, hand-in-hand, frame-by-frame work with the author to leave out the lessons in the main book. You can place your order today on Linktree/Anietie Bature. The Linktree is spelled linktr.ee/Anietie Bature. Amazon Kindle, Paystop, Okada Books, Barnes & Nobles, and Raven Hearts.
All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yes.
Welcome back. So we, just in case you didn't hear the advert, Husband Material is available at every bookstore near you, and you can get your copy online too using the Linktree, the Linktree link. You can use it to get
Material, you can check it on Amazon and stuff.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, Okada Books. It's everywhere online. Just Google Husband Material by Anietie Bature. Some of these things we're talking about are embedded in that book. But don't worry, by the grace of God, 2023, by the grace of God, I know I've said it 2 times, it's like double grace. Wife Material will also join. That's
I hope people can see my face. Yes, so as I was saying, One TV, thank you for your comment. So she says those who are teachable, yes, and that's where we were before we went on the break. people need to, if you're teachable, if you're willing to learn, then things are better. Is there any other comments down there? Or are we done with comments? Okay,
Yeah.
Judith says exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So she's in agreement.
So we were talking about some of the things you need to do before you say I do. You need to please talk about certain important things. Okay, you need to talk about certain important things.
Like,
do you want to have children? So, do you want to have children? Talk about it. If you want to, how many? Because somebody can say, I don't have any plan of having children. This my body like this, as it is, the figure like this, the tummy as it's flat like this, as in, I don't plan. I want to preserve the features. Okay. And for that reason, they say they don't want to have children.
But
it could also be.
But you see, when you ask me the question, I say but there's a way that we can be doing relationship and be going. And nobody has asked the question, and everybody just assumed that everybody that wants to get married wants to have children.
Yeah, it could also be that there are health complications or, that prevents somebody who on a normal day would have loved to have kids, prevents them from being able to.
But if the conversation does not arise, the situation will not be known.
Yes, so the discussion needs to happen. And you have to talk about those things. Where are we going to live? Example, one person has a house already, the other person has another house. Who is moving? Who is moving? One person has a job, one person has another job, and one person is likely going to relocate.
If it is,
who is relocating?
Yes, if a relocation is in play,
who is moving?
Who is moving?
So you have to talk about all of these things. You have to talk about all of these things so that there's no not after the wedding is okay, so we need to move together. Move now. We move now. And I'm waiting for you to move. What do you mean I'm waiting for you? But and then it's after the wedding you now start dragging who is moving. No. You need to even coming back to children. When do you want to start having them? One person believes that immediately after 9 months later,
I need to show my parents evidence.
Yes, 9 months later, we should have a baby crying in the house. Another person believes I need 2 years to settle down, know how all these things run, get used to the concept of marriage and being responsible for the well-being of another person, or however you choose to put it, before I can start talking about children.
So these are conversations to be had before you even say I do.
Yeah.
Right. And we're saying before you say I do, for example, these conversations about children, is there a best practice?
When you say best practice, is there something to? I think it's and when it comes to marriage, there's a lot of uniqueness. When I say, or should I say, not uniqueness, peculiarity, it has to do with the people. Because your conditions, your reality is completely different from another person's own. Do you understand? One person could say, oh, just everything is fine, you're healthy, is healthy, why can't it be 9 months? But another person, this person may be starting a job that requires that you should have a complete year without interference before they even confirm you. And maybe having a child is going to prevent you.
That.
Yes, would disrupt that, and they'll say, oh, you're starting a job, you're getting pregnant, you're not serious, no promotion. In fact, you're fired. We can't even pay you. If you go on maternity leave, it's at your
loss.
Yes, so you're not going to get paid and so on. I mean, there are different things. It could just different things. So you cannot say, oh, this person did like this, so this person must do it like this. When it comes to marriage, the two of you people have to talk. You have to discuss. You have to say, what is the circumstance of your own life and the circumstance of your person? Now, bringing this together, how can we make it work?
This is what you're saying is very critical. So all these things that we're talking about that you need to consider before you say I do, right? All of these things are more or less like principles. Between the both of you, you have to now have the conversation on which practice will work for us. What is going to work for us?
Let me throw in another one. How are we going to spend money? Who calls the shots?
That one is the whole episode.
Who calls the shots? What do you do with your money? Do you buy what you want? because you think it's needed, put it in the house, you buy also, you have your own money, or do we pull our money together into one central purse and then we disburse from there, or does the wife submit all the money to the husband and then the husband gives her permission and then the husband gives her permission to spend money even for herself even though she earned it, and so on and so forth. How will it work in your family? These are things you need to discuss up front so that you know if you're comfortable with what the other person's views are, if you can come to a middle ground. Who are we sponsoring? Are we taking care of just ourselves, or are we going to be responsible for our extended family? Example, taking care of our parents, taking care of younger siblings. If you're the firstborn and you have 5 younger ones, is your plan to finish training them and they all graduate before you start having children, and so on? There's so many things to talk about. You need to address them. Are there any health concerns that I should know?
Yes.
He should know? The two people need to know. What is it like with you? Are you often ill? If you are, how have you been managing it? Is there anything I need to know so that I can care for you properly during those periods? Or is there anything I need to know so that I can know that it be like say, I no get grace for this one. Let me be going.
Let me come and be going.
Pray for you that the Lord will send you somebody who has grace to be able to manage this condition. Your parents probably managed it well, right? And you are now at this point. But then somebody needs to be in your life that is able to give you care when the need arises. This person you want to say, I do too, right? Are they ready for that? Do they understand? And don't brush it. Don't gloss over it, as they say. Do they understand the gravity of that responsibility? Because if they don't, and then they are faced with it, they could just decide, oh boy, I did not sign up for this, and whoosh, off they go. And you don't want that. So these are some of the things to talk about. Ansel says, personally, I was shocked when my then girlfriend, now my wife of 6 years, asked me about my genotype before asking her out.
She's a sharp woman.
I was shocked. A lot of things are there to talk about before saying I do. A lot of people are or go into relationship assuming a lot of things. This is a recipe for disaster. True. Seriously. Thank you for this teaching. Thank you so much, Ansel, and you have spoken the truth. You know,
you see that issue.
It's very important.
That issue of genotype and relationships, genotypes and relationships is very critical. That's why I said that lady is a very sharp, very sharp woman.
Yeah.
Let the conversation be had.
Yes.
So that even if that's why you cannot say I do based on the concept of marriage you have in your head. That concept you have in your head, you must download it and then compare it with the concept that your partner also has in their head. Yeah. And these are all the things, these are a number of things you have to talk about.
Yeah.
And in your comparison, find what works for both of you.
In-laws.
Hey.
Are they coming to stay?
Well,
if they are coming, how long are they staying? Is it extended stay?
And then or shortlet. Is it shortlet or is it extended?
Yes, and then is it the kind that people just show up without prior notice? How are we going to manage those
because
things?
Baby, that thing you're saying, somebody will tell you, it's my mother. Why does she need to call before she comes to my house? She carried me for 9 months. And she raised me. Where were you not there when she raised me? So why does she need to call when she's coming to my house? My brother, did you say your mother should not come?
It's just that somebody may prefer to be informed before that visit. So you need to actually decide how we're going to be doing these things. When somebody needs help, like, there's a young cousin somewhere that needs help, needs somebody to guide them. Are you going to do it remotely, like send support to where they are, or do you plan to bring them into your home? These are things that need to be discussed. cost. Yes.
Very, very, very
So
key. Very,
so
very
talk
key.
about
Talk
it.
about
Older
inlays.
older sister.
Yeah.
There are some siblings that are very imposing, who want to come and say, establish almost as if this is my space, my territory.
Abi.
I am your husband's elder sister, and you must respect me.
No.
So we have to talk about those sisters, men. If you have those sisters, you need to have the discussion with your wife to be, that there's this sister. How are we going to handle it? Are you okay if she comes? Or and then wife, you need to be able to say, I'm not okay if you're not okay. And then now discuss whether the husband will man up and tell the sister, you can't really come like that. You understand? Because honestly, who is talking to who is facing who? If your family has a demand that, or makes a demand from me that is in quote unreasonable or inconvenient or not even possible, right? Will I be the one to respond, or will you respond on my behalf? So as in, you have to talk about these things. If not, you may be setting up your partner for plenty trouble, because they don't understand your family as much as you do.
Yeah.
And they may respond to your family the way they respond to their family, thinking it's okay, and then it becomes an abomination, and it becomes all sorts of no. So yes, in-laws must be discussed. How are you going to deal with them? What are the sensitivities? Yes, so please, that's another thing that people need to address.
Before they say I do.
Yep.
So there's also the question. You have said what
Akombi mentioned, just to add, have you had an operation, or is there a family history of health issues and so on? Yeah, all of this need to be addressed.
So in looking at the ideas that people have about marriage and about saying I do, we also look at what I do is not. I do is not a one-way ticket to paradise. I do does not mean happily ever after. I do does not mean he will change after I marry him. I'm sorry I'm using him, but I get that a lot. I I I know he's a promising young man. After we marry, he will change. Far, 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 foul. I'm looking you straight in the eyes, and I'm telling you, he ain't gonna change. If he didn't change before, I'm a guy. I know he's not going to change. And take it from a man that has experience. I've been 15 years in this thing. But
Oh my goodness.
really, speaking from a guy's perspective, if anything you did not change before you married him, you are not going to be able to change it after marriage. In fact, if he changes, it is because he is intending or insistent on changing.
As in, he has decided
He
by
has
himself.
decided by himself. You see, ladies, I'm telling you for free. I'm looking you eyeball to eye lens, because this camera I'm looking at, but I'm looking at you in the eyes. I'm telling you, if he did not change anything, and this is especially for all these Christian sisters. Don't say, but I met him in church. Even the devil goes to Sunday school these days. Do you understand? Yes, it's in your Bible. Read it. They say when the sons of God were gathered, Bros Devoro was present in their midst. So you can't claim that, you met him in church. Christian sisters, listen to me. Don't manage. Don't manage. There's some things that you do not manage, things that are of critical nature, like some of the things we have mentioned here. Don't manage. Have the conversations. Let it be that if you decided to go in, if you decided to say I do, is because you people have had conversations and you have said something about each of these matters. Then you can now say, when you are saying I do, you know exactly what you are doing,
Yeah.
or what you are going to do, rather. Because by the time we come to episode 2, you will begin to find out, when you say I do, what did you really do? That's episode 2. Yes, and,
Okay,
and that's
great.
that's for next week. But then these are some of the things. I don't know if there's any other issue. What were some of? Is there anything else that we discussed before we said I did? Because you know that question paper you gave me.
Oh, for people, church goers, which church are you going to attend? You'll be shocked. One person wants to go here, the other person wants to go there.
One person wants to go to Equa,
and then one
another
person
wants
is,
to go to
and each one is seriously holding on to their denomination. Nobody wants to shift. Better have the discussion early.
Have the discussion early. Which one are we going to do? There is no law that says because I'm the guy. If I marry her, she should come to my church.
Yeah,
now.
actually, there's no law. But people can decide, okay, as our family and with where we want to go as a family, which church do we feel is the right one for us, right? So, and then you make a decision together and you go. But some people think by default she should move over to mine, and she may say, I don't like your church. Or what are you going to do? So better discuss it.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Better discuss
After
it and decide how you're going to go forward.
Yep.
So time to go.
Any other closing thought? I'm just running through my head, that foolscap sheet that you gave me before we said that. I'm just trying to see
if you find any, we'll talk about it next week when we're talking about the what you really did when you said I do.
That's episode 2
yes.
of this one.
Everyone,
so please, even though we are rounding up, share the link. Share the link, subscribe. This month, December, we are going to do our last episode on this channel for Common Sense. And interestingly, we have run Common Sense consistently every Saturday and some Sunday nights like this one, right? Throughout the whole year. Isn't that interesting? Throughout the whole year. And you guys have been there with us through the year, and we just want to applaud. We do not take you for granted. We do not, but that your year is very short. Let's make the year. Yeah, make it long enough. Yes. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So we really do applaud you. And we keep coming every day, because this issue of relationships, marriage,
is serious.
Life is serious.
Very serious.
And I know there are a lot of stuff on social media, but here we give you the unadulterated truth. Where it is sweet, we'll tell you it is sweet. Where it is bitter, we'll tell you it is bitter. And that this particular bitter part, just eat it like that. And take it. But where it is sweet,
oh my goodness.
It is sweet. And
okay.
And it's something we love to do, and that's why we do it every time, because it's a passion.
Okay.
This one, you have said okay 3 times. That's why I just keep
so.
Oh yeah, your own closing.
It's time to go.
Your own closing thoughts. Your own closing thoughts.
My closing thought is in line with his own. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. It's time to go, brother. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us today. Honestly, thank you. And thanks for your comments. Thanks so much, Ansel. Thanks a lot, Olua, Toby, and everyone else, Judith.
I think we had a new
yes, TV. Yes,
TV.
so TV, thanks for joining us today.
We appreciate you. We thank you for coming in. In the description, we will have the fan appreciation form, and we'll have it in the description just at the end of this show. Just click the link, and our page will come up. And we just want to be able to say at the end of this year, thank you for being with us. And as we always say,
common sense is not
so common.
Bye.
Guy, I've said bye now. Oh my goodness.